Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, can the Utah Jazz possibly upset the Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro Premium community, which is launching on February 1st. Finally here, and then after that we're going to be working on our website, and then we're just going to keep telling you guys about it as much as possible, so when we do launch it, everybody's aware, or at least most of you guys are aware about it. Anyway, let me get into the topic here. So y'all know that the Utah Jazz have been red hot, right? They've been red hot in the NBA, but especially in the Western Conference. Y'all know it's been a very tight race for the number one seed in the Western Conference. It's basically been between the Lakers and the Clippers. They've been trading that number one spot. The Lakers have been winning. They've been playing very, very well. They won 8 out of their last 10 games. The Clippers have won 8 out of their last 10 games, although they lost last night to the Atlanta Hawks, given the fact that both of their stars were mysteriously taken away from the team for reasons that remain foggy to me, and I don't understand. However, the Utah Jazz, on the other hand, have been playing better. If we're going to talk about streaking, they've been streaking. They've been more streaky than the Lakers and the Clippers. The Utah Jazz have won 9 games in a row, which has now propelled them to have the number two record in the Western Conference, right behind the Lakers. They have equal losses with the Lakers, with a 4-4. They have 4-4 losses, which tie the Lakers. However, the Lakers have one more win to the Utah Jazz. Now, I haven't sat back and gone through the exact schedule of the Utah Jazz. I don't know the number of games. I don't know the specific teams that they have coming up in the next week or so. Things may change depending on who they play, right? So that information is not clear to me right now. Now, if we look at their team stats, right? If we delve a little bit deeper and look at the team stats for the Utah Jazz, they're a pretty solid team. They seem pretty balanced. They're getting you about 113 points per game, scoring, holding opponents to 105, which is a pretty good differential. About a 7 to 8 point differential that they're holding opponents to. They're shooting 46% from the field, which is not bad. They're shooting 39, almost 40% from the three, which is pretty good actually. So they're a pretty good offensive team, and they're doing their thing. Now, if we look at their key players, Mike Conley has been one of these guys that was, very good point guard, under the radar, doesn't get all of the press that other point guards get, but a very solid guy. Used to play with the Memphis Grizzlies for a number of years. Really solid guy, clutch player. But he's dealt with some injuries over the last few years. Last season, he only played 47 games. Season prior, he played 70, which is good. But the season before that, he only played 12 games. So the guy has dealt with some injuries over the last 3 years or so. But this year, he's played, I think, all of the available 17 games that the team has played so far. This season, the guy is averaging 16.5 points per game, shooting 46% from the field, shooting 42% from the three, which is great. 75% from the free throw line, getting you 3.9 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and getting you 1.5 steals per game. He's a veteran. The guy's 33 years old, but he's been in the league for some while. A little bit undersized at the point guard position at 6'1". Generally, you want your point guard to be around 6'3" if you think of the Russell Westbrooks and these guys. But he's still a serviceable point guard, and he's doing his thing. If we look at Donovan Mitchell now, on the other hand, y'all remember the hot playoff run that Donovan Mitchell had last season where he just went bonkers. I'm going to get to his playoff numbers in a moment. But this season, Donovan Mitchell is averaging 24.3 points per game, shooting 4.1, getting 4.1 rebounds, 5 assists per game. He's shooting 43% from the field. Not very good. He's not a great overall, field goal shooter. He's never, for instance, he's never shot like 46% in his career. He's shooting 39.5% from the three, which is impressive. He's 3 percentage points higher this season from the 3-point line than he was last year. He's shooting 83% from the free throw line. He's getting you 4.4 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and he's getting you just under a steal a game. Now, if I can pull up his playoff numbers last season he had an amazing playoff run. Granted, in only 7 games. He scored 36.3 points per game in the playoffs. He shot 53% from the field, 51% 51.6% from the three-point line, 95% from the free throw line, got you 5 rebounds and 4.9 assists and 1 steal per game. Now, listen, I think these numbers are a bit of an aberration. I don't think you can expect this type of productivity from him in the playoffs moving forward, because the 2 seasons prior, he didn't put up these type of numbers, but he had a hot stretch when they were playing against the Denver Nuggets, because I think that series went 7 games. So he had a hot first round. I don't think he's going to have one of these type of playoff runs like a LeBron James or Kawhi. Like when Kawhi won that last championship, he averaged 30, I think 9 and over 2 steals per game for the playoffs. Like that includes all 3 rounds and the finals, right? And shot like 50% from the field for the entire playoffs. So that's a complete. Those guys are at a completely different level. But Donovan Mitchell is still a young guy. This is only what he's been in the league. I think this is Donovan Mitchell's 4th year. This is his 4th season in the NBA, so he's still a pretty young guy. I'm sure some of you guys saw the exchange that he had between himself and Shaquille O'Neal on Inside the NBA, when Shaq basically said that, listen, he doesn't think that Donovan Mitchell is good enough to get this team to the next level. And Donovan Mitchell responded the best way that he could. He said, okay, that's your opinion, and it is what it is. I thought that was pretty mature on his part. Obviously, you can see he was a little bit hurt by those comments, because he's a young guy, man. Donovan Mitchell, I think, is 24 years old. Yeah, 24 years old. So he's a young guy, right? And if you say something to somebody like that, you could actually hurt his feelings. Like dudes like to act like, oh, I don't have feelings, whatever. Everybody does, right? It's usually the guys that say they have no feelings are usually the most emotional guys in the world. They're the ones that get offended the easiest, but you have no feelings. Donovan Mitchell looked like he was hurt by the comments of Shaq. But he took it like a man. He dealt with it, and he's been playing. His team has been playing well. Now, do I think that the Utah Jazz can possibly upset the Lakers and the Clippers? Possibly, right? But for that to happen, I think the thing that needs to happen, I think if they were to meet, for instance, in a series, I think one of the Lakers stars has to be off, or they may need to suffer like some key injury. Because if the Lakers have all of their players, all of their stars are healthy, LeBron and AD are playing like they did last year in the playoffs, there's no way in hell this Utah team can beat the Lakers, unless maybe they're having very close games and the game is being decided by 1 or 2 possessions and they get a lucky bounce here and there, right? And guys play above their normal, let's say, productivity and crunch time, and then they win games somehow. But if all things remain equal and the Lakers are healthy and the Jazz are healthy, I would pick the Lakers 9 times out of 10 to beat the Utah Jazz. That's just me. Some people may feel, I'm wrong, but that's what I believe. Same thing with the Clippers. If the Clippers are clicking, I don't think the Utah Jazz can beat the Clippers either, right? So, but some people may say, I don't know about the Clippers, because the Clippers have shown that they can get up, but they can't stay up. They can't hold leads. So some people may have those questions, and they're probably valid. I think with the Clippers at this point, with this organization, it remains for them to just prove it, right? The fans believe they're good. I believe Kawhi Leonard is good enough to do it because I've seen him do it. But the only way to really shut up your critics is actually to go out there and get it done. I think until people see it, that's the only way they will believe it. And people are always going to give the Lakers the benefit of the doubt because they did it, right? And because they did it, they get that benefit of the doubt. But do I think the Utah Jazz can possibly upset one of these teams? Possibly. Do I think it will happen? No. Now, I could be wrong. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that the Utah Jazz can possibly upset one of these teams? Or do you think it's completely impossible? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoy the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Again, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the next video that we have coming up. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.